All right, awesome. Well, welcome back, everybody, to our last speaker today of our first day of our fifth annual career fair. It's been really fun, Jonathan, to see all the cool careers. It's been very unique this year, and it's been really fun listening to all of the different careers that we've had, and everything that it kind of takes, those skills, everything. Like it's been a lot of fun. I don't know about you, man.
I agree, and I feel like we've had so many out of the box ideas for all of our creative students, our non-traditional. I don't even like using that word, non-traditional college path. If you hate, like we said in one of the other sessions, if you hate working in a cubicle, day one was definitely for you. So, Blake, would you go ahead and introduce our next speaker?
Yeah, so we have the pleasure of having the great Tyson Phipps here today to share with us. Good longtime friend of mine, sharing with us today his experience with running a YouTube channel, as well as his experience with like Uber and Lyft as well. Some of the, maybe you might call it like freelance, kind of like your own business type of careers. So Tyson, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know it's 3 hours later where you're at too, so I appreciate you taking some time out of your evening to be here with us today, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here with both yourself and Jonathan. So thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Well, I will just quickly say before I hand it over to you, Tyson, just to share. We'll we'll ask Jonathan and I will ask questions. Sometimes they'll come up towards the end, and also for those watching, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to use the little question and answer tool in Zoom, and we'll make sure to answer all of your questions after we're done sharing. All right, Tyson. Well, without further ado, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Tyson Phipps. I am a YouTuber. I also do ride shares as well during the evenings, as well as my main job that I also do as well, which is a sales career. But in the evenings, I do YouTube, and I've been doing that now for about 6 years. I currently live in Florida. As Blake mentioned, it's getting really hot over here already, so summertime is coming. Grew up in the Pacific Northwest, but I moved to Florida about 5 years ago, which is kind of crazy to think about. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but the last 5 years has just kind of blown past. So I guess technically now I'm on my way to being a Floridian. Started YouTube when I was over in Oregon, and continued it because of I just really love talking to people, getting an opportunity to get in and speak with people live gives me the opportunity to do that. So I've been continuing to grow my community and my channels, and I also do the ride share in the evenings as well, just to pick up some extra cash here or there whenever I need it, and help pay some of the bills. So we all know food's getting expensive, so we know whatever you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. So, if you don't mind with the YouTube specifically, I'm like, go ahead and brag about yourself a little bit, or share how your channel's doing, what it takes, what has that journey look like for you?
Yeah, so YouTube it's an interesting beast because it's a lot more than I thought it was going to be when I started out. I thought when I first started it was just going to be playing video games, uploading that to the channel, and really just like talking to people when I live streamed. And I've discovered as I went through, I started in 2019, so like right before the dark times. Started in 2019 and started learning there, but it really encompasses a multitude of things. You're learning to speak to people. You're learning to speak to people you don't see. So similar to the virtual environment, you're having to learn to make sure that you're not using filler words. So there's a lot of practicing speech or listening to yourself talk that you wouldn't normally do. You have to learn to edit. You have to be on top of your time management as well as managing your own calendar. You're doing your own marketing. So I've learned that there's a lot of other things that are involved in being a YouTuber, specifically within the gaming niche, which is where I am, than I thought there was when I started out. But I love it. It's been so much fun that I've continued to do it over the course of the last 5 or 6 years. I've changed areas where I'm at and what I'm doing, but I've grown my YouTube channel to a little over 10,000. I'm about halfway to 11,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. I'm over 65,000 followers on my TikTok channel, and I have 6,000 plus on my Facebook page that I have as well for the Phippsy fam, as I call them, my community. So I've been able to grow my social media platforms quite a bit, but it has changed a lot since I started YouTube. I think initially when I started, it was a lot of the Mr. Beast, in your face, lots of very flashy, catchy, keeping people's attention stuff, to now I feel like it's more people want something to listen to or be a part of than that, because it's really hard to get connected to something that's splashing in your face every 2 or 3 seconds versus having an actual conversation with someone. And I feel like that is kind of where things have shifted with YouTube currently, which is I actually thoroughly enjoy, because that's something that I enjoy more so than trying to they call it retention editing, which is essentially just making sure that there's a different scene on the screen every like 3 seconds to keep people's attention. I did that, but I enjoy currently where the meta, if you will, is going with YouTube. And so that's been kind of like the journey with that, and learning different aspects of what I have to do. You know, I've learned Adobe Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects. I've learned how to make graphics move on the screen. Never thought I would do that. Learned how to edit videos and add, you know, pop-ups on the video that make it more interactive. So there's been a lot of stuff that I've done throughout the course of the 5 or 6 years that I've been doing it, but it's been a fun journey during that time.
That's awesome. I love it. And I can test. I mean, I know Jonathan will brag on me sometimes, call me an editing guru, and I can tell you, Jonathan, I have had to learn After Effects and Premiere Pro, and Tyson, whichever way you are on my screen, he is a pro in comparison, because I'm like, it's a lot of work. Just making a graphic move from one side to the other is really difficult. And so it's a lot of work, a lot of that attention to detail. Yeah, no, it's really impressive. It's a lot of stuff that you have to learn, and all self-taught, right?
Yeah, all self-taught. Honestly, through YouTube U, as we call it, you know, just learning everything from YouTube videos, how to do specific things. So I'd be looking at my video and I would say, this is what I want to do. And so I would go and search on YouTube where to find that. And then I would learn that skill and apply it to the video that I was working on. And so, yeah, it's a matter of just piecing your knowledge together, one link by one link, because if you try to do it all at the same time, which I tried to do at the beginning, it's very overwhelming. So it's better to like, I'm just going to make this 1% better every time versus like, I need to be perfect, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Right. I mean, if you have that I need to be perfect right away mentality, sometimes that's how you can burn yourself out real quick. Slowly, yeah. We're all about slowly learning and growing, right? Life's a journey. We're growing as we go.
That's right.
Did you want to share at all, like what kind of content you do on your channel? I know you kind of touched on the kind of delivery style, I guess, of a video, but what is your kind of content journey like? Because I know personally for myself, like what that's kind of evolved over time. But what have you done, and what have you kind of noticed maybe as well throughout your journey?
So I've tried a number of things. I've done everything from tutorials to walkthroughs to let's plays to guides, if you will, to now I do more engaged challenge content. So things that are a little bit longer, that are a little bit harder, and are not things that people typically would do. So I think when you do a YouTube channel, because of the amount of people that now upload videos and are on the platform daily, if you're just doing what everyone else is doing, you're not going to stand out and you're not going to get noticed, unfortunately. So what, like, for example, PewDiePie or Markiplier did many, many years ago is not necessarily applicable to someone like myself or somebody that's just starting YouTube today. So I try to make either my content very funny, very informative, or something that will not be something that the average person is doing in their own day to day, whether they don't have the time to do it, they don't have the skill to do it. Like, for example, like a really hard game or game mode. So those are kind of the three pillars that I utilize now in my content. And I've specifically shifted to doing challenge type videos. So current state of my YouTube channel, I am a platinum YouTuber for PlayStation games. I own Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation. I have a PC that can play games, but I've shifted to focusing kind of on that niche of, okay, so my brand is PlayStation Platinum trophies, and having that distinction has helped guide where I want to take my content, whether that be specific games, etc. Whereas before that, I was kind of spray and pray. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do this. And then if you do that, you get all scatterbrained, and it makes it really hard to have an audience that also connects with you, because they might be interested in one of your videos, but they might not be interested in another. So I try to keep the main thing, which is I do platinum trophy hunts. And I think whether you're doing gaming or you're doing different types of content, it could be clothing, etc. I think having a specific thing that your channel's focused around that has a big encompassing, right? Like PlayStation games, right? Like I have literally all the PlayStation games for platinum trophy hunting. So it's not like a small area, but it is a niche in that people that are looking up those videos are specifically looking for challenge type stuff. And that could be like, for example, a specific brand of camera or a type of shooting if you're into photography, or a specific program like Adobe, right? Don't have to be Adobe Premiere, but as you're making videos, having a specific thing that you focus on so that you can keep the main thing, and that there's a reason for people to come back and watch your content. I think that that's something that I've learned throughout the journey, and that's where my journey has led me to where I'm at today.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. It was really, really insightful. And I know a lot of students are really interested in this type of stuff. So this is really cool to kind of get an inside look at some of these things. So when you are, obviously you've talked about, content creation, those finding kind of your thing, that specific thing. Obviously a big part of YouTube, and you kind of alluded to it, was like that community. Like how important is community building, and what does that look like to you? And I guess what are some ways you can do that? I guess
community is very important. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of community. You can start earning money on YouTube with a very small subscriber account if you have a very strong, loyal base of viewers or a community. So a lot of people don't focus on it early enough. One of the things that's hard from the niche that I'm in is having like a product to sell. A lot of people try to shift to that as something that they're working on. But being able to connect with people and creating that just that friendship, that relevance is important. And you can do that by just having a relatable topic that people are interested in, right? So if it's a sport, or if it's a clothing brand, or a type of paint, right? Like my fiance, she loves watching this painter, and she buys their paints, and the painter will do a live stream where they paint out this picture that they're selling you the portrait or the template for. So having like that and creating the community can really be beneficial to you, because monetarily it's going to help you. And if this is something that you're pursuing as a career, you obviously have to make money doing it, right? But B, it is also going to help you create connections that are going to be beneficial to you both personally and professionally as you go throughout your career, whether that be sponsorship opportunities from other big companies, or just having somebody that you can relate to when it comes to being a YouTuber, because it's very unique. in the fact that not a lot of people understand it. So it's really hard to talk to people that are not in that area, right? About struggles that you might be having or things that you might be going through. So just having the community, building friends that have similar interests as you in that community that might also be creators. It's very important for your success, because if you have other people that can push you and that can give you feedback, or community that gets excited about the next product that you're, the next video product that you're putting out, it really motivates you to be like, okay, let's keep going, let's keep pushing, we're going to get there. And I think a lot of people initially, when they look at it, go, oh man, I spent a lot of time on this video, it got 50 views, right? But 50 views, that's a classroom. That's a classroom, right? Next video goes out, that's 100 people. That could be a small auditorium. You got to look at it in different perspectives, right? If I'm talking to an auditorium of people, I'm going to be excited. Like, I'm excited about this opportunity and just getting to talk to other people. So you never know how many people you're reaching or even who's watching. So just that community aspect is really, really important, and it can help keep you motivated to continue making the content.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. And before I can, I guess, ask some questions about some of like the rideshare stuff, I guess maybe we could briefly open questions about, or at least to Jonathan, and if any of our attendees, again, if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in our little question function, little Q&A deal. But so Jonathan, I don't know if you have any questions, but I do want to ask real quick, like what kind of maybe like top 3-ish like skills do you think you probably need to be successful going into like pursuing this kind of a path? Like, what are the top skills you think somebody should have?
So speaking in front of a camera is definitely number one. If you're not able to speak in front of a camera, you're gonna struggle. I think that with saying that, it's not something that comes naturally to anyone. So it is something that you will need to practice. And one recommendation I have for people that are interested in doing that is just film yourself talking about ice cream or breakfast cereal or whatever. Film yourself talking about it for 2 to 3 minutes and listen to how many ums or uhs or pauses or things that you say in there that stop the conversation, and then learn to start minimalizing those, and that will help improve the situation. Because again, you're talking to somebody that is not physically in front of you at the current time. The second thing I think is really important is time management. It's really easy to let time just get away from you, specifically if you're viewing this as a job. And I've had to really shift that focus to this, as I'm viewing this as something that I'm doing to make money and enjoy and make money. But time management is very important. And I actually keep like a to-do list next to me. I turn my phone on silent when I'm working on YouTube so that I don't get on TikTok or Instagram or Google some random thing that pops into my brain, which happens literally all the time. I'll be like, oh, peanut butter with strawberries, it's just some random thing that I'm thinking about. So I make sure that I limit distractions, but time management is really, really important in being able to make sure that you're getting the most out of the time that you're spending. Otherwise, you're going to be working on projects much longer than you need to be. I would say the next thing would be just being open to constructive feedback. And when I say that, that can be difficult on YouTube. And the reason for that is because I'm sure we've been in videos or pictures and we see some pretty rude comments. Being able to kind of, brush those off and just move on, but watch for the actual constructive ones, the ones that are actually there, like, hey, I love the video. If you could do this better next time, that would be great. Like, for example, there's a viewer that I was in a community I'm part of. They love watching platinum videos, but they're hard of hearing. So one of the feedbacks that they had was uploading subtitles so that they could watch and turn the subtitles on during the video. That's constructive feedback. That's an improvement that you can make to your content that makes it more accessible to more people, because I'm hard of hearing as well. I mean, Blake knows I'm literally like I struggle to hear a lot of things, and having and being open to that constructive feedback would be good. So I would say camera presence, talking to people, time management, and then being open to feedback are not necessarily hard skills, but those are skills that you need to have to be able to be and continue to improve with YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I love that. Jonathan, do you have any questions about YouTube side of things before we move?
So one of the questions he kind of got to was I had a question about monetization and how people are monetizing. You kind of touched on that a little bit, but what advice would you give? So we have a lot of high school creatives, even alumni who are listening. They're creative. I could think of several students right now. They're just kind of going through my mind that they're creative. They love the arts. They love film. They love photography. What would you give? You're obviously, Tyson, a creative. What would you give? What advice would you give to that your high school self who's a creative?
Yeah. I think in terms of monetization, coming up with an idea and running with it, right? So like that could be like just a delivery path that you have. Maybe you have a workout routine that you like, or there's a great thing actually is SVG files that you could sell, right? So little tiny, they're almost like PNG files, but things that people could print out on like a Cricut, or that they could use. If you're not aware, a Cricut is like a tool that you can use to put and print, create objects to like print on clothing and stuff like that. But lots of people buy little tiny things like that, and you could make an SVG file, charge 99 cents for it, right? And it's a bunch of them. And if enough people buy that, then you're making money off of that. And you don't even need to be monetized on YouTube to have that. So just being able to come up with an idea that you see a gap in. So one of the things that I do when I'm looking at ways to monetize is I look and I go, what is not in the market right now that I enjoy that I'm not seeing? It could be like a really funny shirt or a really funny design or the SVG file, right? So coming up with something that you can use, or a plan that you can use that you could then sell to monetize. And then as you're trying to grow your YouTube channel and get monetized, because it is a monumental task, right? The first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is actually very hard. It took me probably like a year and a half to get 1,000 subscribers and to get monetized on YouTube when I first started, because you need 1,000 hours or 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Is just continue to be there, continue to post content, continue to be what's the word I'm looking for? Show up, right? Like if you're posting every week, post every week. If you're posting monthly, post every month. Continue to put out content on a regular basis so that people can expect you to be there, and you will start to see some of the ROI from that. So it just depends. And then you'll have videos that start earning the revenue that is just a really nice bonus. So you get that, you can start to earn deals. Like you'll get emails from sponsors that want to sponsor your content, that then you do a sponsored video or a sponsored bit in a video. Like you'll see this video is sponsored by, and then they'll say a name that you get paid for those. So it's just being consistent. That was the word I was looking for, consistent. And then just making sure that if there's a gap in an area, like a really funny, maybe there's a really funny saying that you hear and you're like, oh, there's not do a Google search. There's not a shirt that has that. Make a shirt out of it, make a design. You can do that for pretty much free, and then do not drop ship, but you can do print on demand companies where you don't even have to have the product on stock, right? You just pay like $19.99 a month or whatever, and you then have access to have that company send the shirt out to the customer for buying it. You sell 3 shirts, you've made up your monthly. You sell 1 shirt, you made up your monthly fee. You sell 2, you sell 3, you're now in the green. So just continuously looking for ways or areas that you can add value to people. That's the best way that you can do that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is just listening to your viewers and your community about things that they want.
Love it. Love it. We actually have 2 questions from student listeners or student attendees. Kaylee is asking, do you think it's possible to start a YouTube channel while still in high school?
100%. Yeah, I think it definitely is. And I think that as you're starting out, just kind of post, literally just post. Learn what it feels like to post a video, learn what it feels like to edit a video, learn what it feels like to just kind of get into the rhythm of things. I think a lot of people overthink it way too much. Just start posting about things that you enjoy. It could be starting with shorts. Shorts is a really accessible way. You use your cell phone. You literally just record yourself on your cell phone, post a short, and you can start talking about things that you really enjoy. And it's a very easy way to do it. So yes, 100%. I think it's very, very reasonable to start a YouTube channel. Mr. Beast started in high school, if that gives you any inclination. Like it's very, very possible to start in high school.
There's another question. Blake, you want to take that one or you want me to read it?
Yeah, okay. No problem. Our other question from Goku is what is an SVG?
So it's like a type of file. So there's like a PNG, a JPEG. So it's a type of file format that you would then save a picture as to upload. And the SVG is the file format that is usually needed to create like a copy on what was the device that I mentioned earlier? The Cricket. Yeah. So it's just a file type. So it's you would be able to save it as that file type. So it's just literally just the file type. The file format is maybe the appropriate way, but yeah, that's what it is.
Awesome. Sweet. All right. I think that's our questions there. If you guys have any other questions, continue to put them, even if they're about YouTube. We'll just quickly talk a little bit about just your experience with rideshare stuff, and then maybe like some of the skills that go into doing that well that you think that maybe would be the student interested in doing that eventually might need. But yeah, so your experience and then maybe some skills needed there.
Yeah, I think weirdly enough, being able to read people is an important skill when you're driving, specifically if you're looking to get tips. Some people get in the car and they're just like not looking to talk to anyone. So, and then others, let me continue that thought. Some people get in the car and they're not looking to talk to anyone. Some people get in the car and they're needing to talk to someone. So being able to read how someone responds to you is really important. So I would usually start a conversation like, hey, confirming name. Thanks for joining. How's your day going? And seeing how their response is to that. And if they're very open and try to continue the conversation, then I would continue the conversation with them. But if they're like, oh, great, like, awesome. Well, let me know, if the temperature back there is great. If I needs adjusting, just let me know. If there's a specific song that you'd rather listen to, let me know. Happy to adjust the radio for you. And then I would just start driving them to their destination. So I think one of the most important skills for getting tips is just being able to read how someone responds to you. So just, are they open? Are they closed? How are they, how are they approaching the conversation when they get in? And ironically enough, cleanliness of your vehicle is a big tip for making sure that you're optimizing revenue while you're doing rideshare, because people do appreciate getting in a clean car, because surprisingly enough, lots of people don't clean their vehicles, or they smell bad. I've gotten in quite a few rideshares. I don't know if anyone else has, where you get in, you're like, ooh, yikes. Well, at least it's a short ride.
I love it. That's awesome. So it sounds like there are almost some similarities in like between those two jobs too, or like between YouTubing and that, like and rideshare. It's like almost like people skills is just really going to help you out. Communication skills is really going to help you out with
100%
with both of those. That's awesome. has your what is the, just out of curiosity, like how do you get start how does one get started with doing something like Uber and Lyft? Like, do you just go on the app and just apply? Like, how does that work out?
Great question. Yeah, I had that question as well before I got started into it. You go on the app. Lyft is a lot easier to get approved on than Uber, ironically enough. With Lyft, you just submit an application. They do a quick check on your car and your VIN number to make sure that there's no concern with you driving passengers, and then you get approved. With Uber, there's like an actual background check that you go through and they verify. So it took me about 2 weeks for the background check to come back. And then they do like a spot inspection on your vehicle. So you do have to have an inspection on your vehicle to make sure that it's safe, which makes sense for passengers to ride in. But it's literally, you just go, you download Uber Driver and Lyft Driver. You have to download a separate app, and then you just apply in those apps to be a driver. And it's as simple as that.
Cool. Awesome. Jonathan, do you have any questions on those ones?
What was that? Yeah, I do have, I always have a lot of questions, but we'll just pick one that is a common one. What would you say was an unexpected challenge for those students who, they're like, okay, I got my driver's license, I'm getting ready to graduate, I want to drive, or at least I want to make some side money. What would you say is an unexpected challenge, maybe one or two that they can expect in, Uber, Lyft, or that arena, if you will?
I think number one, yeah, the roads. Quite frankly, like I can't tell you how many times when I started, I accidentally would take like the arrival departure area when taking people to the airport and they're trying to go to depart. So I would be at the wrong area and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Then I would do another loop. And so just kind of doing some practice runs around areas that you might be frequenting a lot, because the roads are very, you think you know it, and then you get there and you've got someone in your car that you don't know, and they're definitely watching you, or you feel like they're watching you anyways. And so you get nervous and you make the wrong turn. And I love talking to people, I love doing all that, and even I was like, oh my gosh, like where am I going? So I screwed up that quite a few times. So just doing a couple, just like, hey, I'm just going to kind of go to some areas where I think I might be frequenting passengers quite a bit, would be one. Another is, I kind of expected, I'm gonna give you three actually, so I'm gonna give you two more. So I expected it to be a little bit more steady than it was, and it is if you're patient with it. So what I mean when I say that is, I was doing it expecting that, if I'm working 3 hours, I'll make X amount of dollars. Well, you can, but in likelihood, what's probably going to happen is you're going to have a spurt of time where you make not a whole lot. And then you're going to have a short period of time, maybe 3 to 4 hours out of an 8-hour shift, or 5 hours out of an 8-hour shift, where you make the majority of your day's revenue. And I was not expecting that. So what I had to do to fix that or solve that was be very specific with the time that I started. It wasn't kind of like a thing where I could be like, I just rolled out of bed, it's 9 or 10 in the morning, I'm gonna go drive Uber or Lyft. No, I had to wake up and treat it like an actual job to make sure that I was making money on it. And I was not thinking that it was going to be that way. It is very much, you have to treat it like I'm clocking in, clocking out, and having that entrepreneurial spirit when you're doing it, or you're not going to make what you're hoping to make out of it. The next one is tips. You're not going to get as many tips as you would. I always tip when I ride in an Uber or Lyft. And I found out that that's not the case when I drove. So tips are actually going to be fewer and farther between than you think. So really kind of plan your day around the revenue that you're going to earn from the actual ride. and the tips are just a bonus. So not getting disappointed when you don't earn a bunch of tips, because they're not as frequent as you would think. As somebody that tips every ride, I was like, oh, okay, that doesn't make sense. Oh.
Yeah, that sounds surprising to me as well, because I'm the same way. I'm a generous tipper myself.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate to hear, but at the same time, not the most surprising thing to hear either. But and it looks like we have a couple
Good questions.
Yeah. So first, well, actually, we'll keep it on this one, and we'll go back to YouTube. So we have one for each. But what was your favorite part about doing Uber and Lyft?
My favorite part was not a day was the same. So getting to see different areas that I normally wouldn't even think to go to in the city that I live in. So I actually learned about a lot of restaurants that I wanted to try, or a lot of areas where I was like, oh, that would be fun to like go do like a day trip or a day date over here, just by going and driving into areas and kind of paying attention to where I was at, because there was a lot of areas within the city that I lived that I literally hadn't been to. And I think that was really cool. On top of getting to meet lots of different personalities, so you get to just meet a lot of people, and the people that do talk to you, that want to talk, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to meet a bunch of new people and just kind of hear life stories about people, and things that they're doing as well. So I think that was part of the thing that I really enjoyed the most. I'm very extroverted, so I get my energy from people. So when people want to talk to me, I get excited.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Wayne. Jonathan, would you like to ask our other one about YouTube?
Sure. So just going back to YouTube, Charles asked, what made you choose YouTube?
What made me choose YouTube versus a different platform, I'm guessing, is the question.
They don't really specify, but yeah, we'll put it out there, versus other platforms, versus
general maybe too. Like
maybe
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, why'd you want to do it? Yeah.
To be quite honest, I didn't really foresee myself doing it at all. One of my friends actually was like, hey, you should start streaming. And so I started streaming on Twitch in 2019. And it was just kind of the thing to be like, well, I'm streaming on Twitch, I might as well upload a YouTube video. If I'm spending the time, with this stuff, I would just download the video, edit it, and post it on YouTube. So it just kind of went hand in hand with each other. I just got into it for fun originally. Like, it wasn't like I'm going to do this and try to make money on it. It was just like, hey, I like doing this. Maybe somebody else does. But the reason that I do focus on YouTube now versus everything else is that it is, in my opinion, the strongest and most long and lasting platform that you could put content on. TikTok, unfortunately, might get banned again. Who knows what's going to happen there? Facebook, not really popular with the current generation, like it was when I was in college or when we were younger. I still use Facebook, but only to post my content, quite frankly. Like, I don't actually use my personal Facebook page anymore. So I feel like a lot of people are probably in that similar situation. So and the monetization on Facebook and TikTok is not great. The monetization on YouTube is definitely king. So the opportunity to earn more money, and I'm not really worried about my content not being there in a couple of years on YouTube. So that would be the reason that I choose YouTube versus other things. I still cross post stuff on other platforms. I don't ignore them. But YouTube is my main focus for that reason. Hopefully that answered the question. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you answered it. They clarified versus Twitch. Why did you use YouTube? So I think we answered it. Any other questions? Just kind of wanted to, as we kind of wrap things up. Anything else? I know. I had one more question. Tyson, so occasionally we'll get, we'll have a few attendees in our live session, and then we'll put it out there on YouTube, and we'll get, I don't know, 50 or 100 students who watch. this presentation or our career fair, and they'll have questions. They didn't participate in the live session. Would it be okay? We won't send you all 50 students. Would it be okay if Blake or myself, maybe what we would do is like compose one list of questions if students who watch the video after the fact, if we would send them your way and get some answers for them?
Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely fine with that. I think that starting YouTube is a massive hurdle, and I think a lot of people overthink it initially. Back to the can I start a YouTube channel in high school? A lot of people overthink it. I overthought it when I started. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has, because it's kind of, it's a vulnerability thing, right? Like, you're putting something on the internet and you're worried, like, is someone gonna like it? Are they gonna not like it? What are my family gonna think of me? What are my friends gonna think of me? And in the grand scheme of things, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, they're not gonna think less of you. They're not gonna think XYZ. And if they do, then they weren't really your friend. Like, it's just something that you got to brush off. So it's just it's a big hurdle that people can get into. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Love it. Love it. I think that pretty much covers it. Day one in the books. Blake, how do you feel?
Feeling great. Again, it's been a fantastic day filled with a lot of really, really good speakers. Tyson, really appreciate you taking the time out of your evening, man, to come here and give us the answer. Again, I know that this is going to be really cool for a lot of our students with that creative muscle. YouTube's huge. I mean, it's a big thing right now, and so it'll be cool. Hopefully, it gets some of our students who are thinking about it kind of over that initial hump and into launching their own channels. And also, speaking of channels, when this video goes up on our school's channel, make sure that we'll have your channel, Tyson, popped up on there, so that way you can take it over. So any of our students who are interested in learning more about what Tyson does, you'll be able to go right over to his stuff. But other than that, everybody, thank you for joining us, and really excited to see what day 2 has in store for us. We have a lot of really amazing speakers once again. You don't want to miss it. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.